Welcome to the North Carolina Field Ministers Podcast, Changing Life, Changing Culture. This podcast offers a forum for field ministers in North Carolina to discuss their lives, their ministry, their impact on incarcerated neighbors, their viewpoints on issues that affect the currently and formerly incarcerated, and their perspectives on a variety of topics. Please note, the podcast does not officially represent the North Carolina Field Minister Program.
Welcome to Changing Lives, Changing Culture. My name is Kenneth Meeks, Jr. I'm currently serving a sentence of life without the possibility of parole for a crime that occurred when I was 16 years old. As I close in on my 20th year of incarceration, I'm also nearing my 6th year as a part of the North Carolina Field Ministry Program. After graduating in December of 2022, I was deployed along with 3 other field ministers to the Craven Correctional facility. Craven touts itself as the leading processing facility in the state of North Carolina, which is one of 4 processing facilities that are tasked with receiving the thousands of criminal offenders into the North Carolina prison system each year. Since arriving in February 2023, my team has witnessed over 7,500 men processed into this facility. That's at least 7,300 people this facility processed each year. One of my focuses as a field minister is first-timers, which is a term that defines anyone entering prison system for the first time. I host a program that's designed to educate these individuals on how to navigate prison culture and inform them on all available programs and educational opportunities with hopes that they will create a plan to use their incarceration as a pathway for rehabilitation. Each session lasts approximately 2 hours, during which I cover an assortment of topics and answer any questions. I've learned that the topics I discuss are not just beneficial for the first-timers. Repeat offenders often come to me for clarity, and I'm occasionally contacted by death-impacted families who are confused and worried. Over this series of podcasts, I will share my thoughts on taking a plea agreement. A defendant forfeits their right to a fair trial and pleads guilty in exchange for a sentence that is shorter than the term that they receive if they went to trial and were found guilty. In my case, due to my age, I was ineligible for the death penalty, and it wasn't until 2012 that the U.S. Supreme Court found it unconstitutional, sentencing a juvenile to life without the possibility of parole. Regarding my plea, I was specifically told that if I pled guilty, I have a chance of release one day. However, if I lost the trial, I never go home. So I pled guilty, and upon arriving in prison, I learned that I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, meaning I was sentenced to die in prison. I was given no date for release. Let's be honest. Life without the possibility of parole, or life without the possibility of parole plus any amount of time, it's still a sentence to die in prison. So really, what kind of lesser sentence did I receive? Understand my confusion, angst, and depression when I learned what my sentence meant. It's also no surprise to see my infraction history early in my sentence as I struggle to adjust to this reality. Let's be clear. Crime must be punished. I accept full responsibility for my crime. I'm forever remorseful for what occurred, and I live each day atoning. But I digress. In a later podcast, I will explore life sentences and rehabilitation. Most cases aren't as dire as mine, so we'll explore a more common situation. Just imagine one day you see a familiar face walking down the street as you drive around town. As it begins to rain, being a good Samaritan, you pull over, offer them a ride. A little later, you're pulled over by the police because you have a tail light out. For you, this is just a normal traffic stop. You get a warning or a ticket and you go on with your day. However, the police officer finds reasons to search your car. You aren't worried. You know that you have nothing illegal, but your partner is nervous. Unbeknownst to you, the passenger hid contraband under the seat when you were pulled over. You were both arrested, despite your pleading that you don't know where the contraband came from. Once taken to jail, the magistrate who will state your charges and set your bond will see that you can pay to be released pending trial. They'll tell you that your charges are possession of a controlled substance, possession with the intent to sell and deliver, traffic, drug paraphernalia, maintaining a dwelling, term after term, charge after charge. It gets overwhelming. And quite honestly, There's a purpose. The more charges you face, the more time you face. The more time you face, the better the chances are that you take a plea agreement. This is called charge stacking. A bond in this case could be as high as $100,000. Many people will post bond and are released from jail while they await their chance to go to court to prove their innocence. However, many more can't afford to pay the price of bail, which can be up to 10 or 15% of the price of one's bond. So after 6 long months sitting in the county jail, your lawyer explains to you that you're being offered a plea with a 6-month minimum. If you refuse and go to trial, you could possibly receive 3 to 4 years in prison. So you agree. You just want to go home and put this entire incident behind you. When you face a judge, all you hear is that you are sentenced to serve 6 to 17 months in the Department of Prison. You look at your lawyer in confusion. They explain, 6 months is the minimum. You've already served that. Just go to prison, process, and then you'll be released. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. According to the Church of Sentencing of North Carolina, offenders are sentenced to a maximum and a minimum term of incarceration. The minimum is mandatory, and a person can serve no less time than this. However, they must begin their sentence serving the maximum term and must work down their sentences. Work down is a term that is used to explain the process of earning sentence reduction credits to reduce their prison sentence from the maximum to the minimum. Sentence reduction credits are earned by having good behavior, participating in educational programs, and through offender work assignments. Also, everyone sentenced under structural sentencing will have a parole term, which is based on the class of felony that they are convicted of. A B1 through an E-class felony generally carries 12 months parole, while an F through I-class felony has 9 months parole. This term is calculated in the sentence that the judge gave. So while the judge is saying 6 to 17 months, it is a 6-month minimum with the 8-month maximum term of incarceration, followed by a 9-month parole term. Therefore, when you reach Craven to process into prison, you discover that the 6 months you serve in the county jail is credited to your sentence, but you still have 2 months to serve because you start your term at your maximum and cannot receive sentence reduction credits in the county jail. Also, due to the amount that you have remaining on your term, you'd only receive sentence reduction credits for good behavior, which will only lower your sentence by about a week. Please understand, after serving 6 months in the county jail, 2 months may not sound like a lot, but each day in prison is a lifetime. It never gets easier. Also, this term is minor compared to most cases. Think about situations when the term is much longer. Just last week, I met an individual that thought his charges were consolidated into one, and he served 21 months, only to discover that he was sentenced to 65 months minimum. This is crushing, especially when you're actually innocent and took a plea because you were scared of the alternative of losing your trial. Let's recap. Each sentence has a minimum term, a maximum term, and a parole term. B1 through E-class felonies carry 12 months parole, and the F through I-class felony carries 9 months parole. To learn which cases are visit North Carolina General Statutes. For those in states other than North Carolina, the structural sentencing guidelines may be different. So research general statutes for your state. Now let's explore the sentence reduction credits. The first and most impactful way of receiving sentence reduction credits is through good behavior. For each month that offenders are without any infractions, they earn 4 days, which will be subtracted from their maximum term. These sentence reduction credits are called earn time. Infractions are important because most facilities require offenders to be 90 days infraction-free before becoming eligible for school or work assignments, which leads me to the second way of earning sentence reduction credits. As I explained the first time, I don't promote prison jobs. I promote education. Studies show that the more education a person has, the lower their chances are of recidivizing, which is returning to prison. Also, educational opportunities in prison will give offenders the skills they need to become productive members of society. Prison educational programs include GED, which is a high school equivalency diploma, various trades such as plumbing, electrical, horticulture, HVAC. There are licensing programs such as the state barbering license, CDLs, or forklift operator license. There's even associate degree and bachelor's degree programs. Each of these classes could be done part-time, meaning the students would attend classes each morning or each afternoon throughout the week. While a full-time job assignment or school assignment, they will attend class both morning and afternoon. For each month that offenders are assigned to a part-time class or job assignment, they earn 6 days, which will also be subtracted from the maximum term of days along with the days subtracted for good behavior. Full-time assignments will earn 9 days instead of 6 days. So in 3 months on a part-time assignment, offenders reduce the maximum sentence by 1 month. Sadly, in the case of the shorter terms, like the example I described earlier, individuals neither have enough time to take a class or get a job. Therefore, the only sentence reduction credits they will receive are the days for having good behavior. Offenders that receive infractions are penalized by losing between 30 to 60 days of sentence reduction credits. There's also a $10 fine for each infraction, the possibility of being placed in segregation, along with the possibility of losing several privileges such as access to the telephone, visitation, or commissary. This is just a crash course of how sentencing works in North Carolina. It may be different in other states. One thing that is consistent in every state is most people in prison will be released one day. After they are released, they must reestablish themselves by getting jobs, housing, etc. Though the focus may be on getting home as quickly as possible, we should strive to make our time meaningful. We may not be able to build our resume through our work history, but we can gain all of the educational and skill training to qualify us for several careers outside of prison. Thank you for listening.
You have been listening to The Prison Pod, a podcast not just for those in prison but for anyone who has been affected by incarceration. Ms. Valerie would love for you to write to her with your questions, comments, and show ideas. The address is Prison Pod, Post Office Box 294, Orono, Maine. 04473.